Speed Channel welcomes you to Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway in the northeast corner of Tennessee, where today it's Bud Pole qualifying for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. 1 week ago, Darlington, South Carolina, NASCAR's most storied super speedway, another page in the book. Jimmie Johnson uses pit number 1 to be the first guy in, gets great service from Chad Knaus and his team, and he's the first guy out on the final pit stop, and that was the key to victory at Darlington last Sunday. Jimmie became the 41st different driver to win a Cup race at the track too tough to tame. And he made a big gain in the point standings. He's now 115 back of Matt Kenseth there in 6th place. Junior in 2nd, Stewart in 3rd. Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, the top 5 as we come to Bristol. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip. And Darrell's bouncing up and down just a little bit because this has got to be his absolute favorite racetrack.
Well, it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, this is back to your roots right here, folks. This is what we all started out. It's how we cut our teeth. Little half-mile racetracks on a Saturday night, bumping and grinding, and you know, every now and then you'd go to a racetrack and a race and a fight would break out, and we're probably going to even see that happen here too.
If you thought last week was exciting, you haven't seen anything yet. Now, Larry, you used to bring a concrete car to Bristol because of the surface here, like Dover. It's all concrete all the way around. But now with common template rules and the changes that have been made, is that still the case?
It really is, and I talked to a lot of crew chiefs this morning. The thing that surprised me, Mike, is so many teams brought brand new race cars here. And I was surprised at how many teams came up here and did 1- and 2-day tests. And Darrell talked about this is a half-mile racetrack with 36 degrees of banking. That's more banking than we have at Talladega, and they're running around here averaging 130 miles an hour. The track record's a 1490 with this little grippier tire. That record may fall today.
You know why they bring new cars real quickly? Because they don't like that car.
I'm going to get you a steering wheel to hold here so everything can calm down here in the booth. Some of those new cars didn't fare too well in inspection. Dick Berggren.
Yeah, and there should be a great big jar of antacid tablets at the end of the NASCAR inspection line because there's been a lot of heartburn here at Bristol. Larry Foyt's car has been confiscated. Jamie McMurray's car has been confiscated by NASCAR. Didn't meet the rules. Foyt's car, they didn't like the roof line on that automobile. McMurray's car, back here at the back window, NASCAR measures an X across the back window. That's got to be in the right position because if that greenhouse, that's the whole roof area here, if that's pushed over to the left, it lets the spoiler get in the air a little bit more, lets them have a little bit more downforce, and they decided that the X in McMurray's car wasn't just right. Both of these cars are going to be loaded up. They're going to take them to NASCAR's R&D Center in North Carolina, measure them up with laser beams, and eventually these teams may get their cars back again. Upstairs.
And you know, Dick, NASCAR has templates that fit these race cars, and Jamie McMurray's car we're looking at, it fit the templates, but they have this measurement that goes from here to here. And then they have a measurement that goes from here to here. And they give them an 1 3/4 difference on that measurement. The McMurray car was well over 2 inches. The intent is anything you can do with this rear spoiler area to move it over to the right. The deck lid or the rear spoiler, it gets it out in the air better. And when this number from the top, from this corner to this corner, is longer than this number, that pretty much tells NASCAR the deck lid and the spoiler has been moved to the right side, which is good for rear downforce.
Yeah, and you think you're on a half-mile racetrack. Big whoop, you know. I mean, you're not, what's the big deal? But you know what, Larry? We used to try stuff at a place like this because we didn't figure they'd check it.
But they are checking everything. And you see right there on Tony Stewart's car going through inspection right now, the 20 car, they even put the templates on it here before qualifying.
At these speeds, it does make a difference. Let's join Steve Burns.
Well, Mike, Elliott Sadler's race car is sponsored by dog food this week, but this car is anything but a dog. He came here with a brand new one, tested it. 4th quickest in practice. Elliott, you got your first career win here. Can you get your first pole at this racetrack?
I think we got a pretty good shot at him. I know the 24 is pretty fast, but I don't know if going out early is going to help us or hurt us, but the pedigree dog food car is really fast. We tested here last week. Was very happy with it, and I'm having a good time. It's driving very good. It drives like I remember that day kind of how we won. So we can keep it like that on Sunday. It'll be a good day for all of us.
All right, good luck, Elliott. Back upstairs to Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. Our full weekend of racing action continues tomorrow on FX. NASCAR Nextel Cup final practice, followed by the NASCAR Busch Series race presented by Taco Bell on Fox. Sunday, America's Best go head-to-head in NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing presented by Quaker State at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then wrap up your race weekend with NASCAR Edition Speed News and NASCAR Victory Lane right here on Speed Channel. NASCAR all weekend long across the Fox networks. Speed Channel coverage of NASCAR Bud Pole qualifying from Bristol Motor Speedway is brought to you by John Deere. Nothing runs like a deer. By Comp USA, unmatched. And by Castrol GTX, providing maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. "45 cars came here to Bristol to run for the pole. Larry Foyt went home. There'll be 44, including this man who must rank as a favorite, Steve.
Mike, when you think of fast, you think of Ryan Newman. Ryan, how good were you guys in practice?
10th's good. Not the greatest, but I think we've got a little bit more to work with here and see what this other new set of tires is like.
From a driver's standpoint, what does it require to run the fast lap here?
Just hitting your marks and getting the pedal down as fast as you can. It's all about being smooth. I mean, for a place that's so rough and so tight, it really pays to be smooth.
Ryan, I've actually heard guys say that they will hold their breath here on a lap. Do you have any idea what you do in the race car here?
I think it's involuntary, but I'm sure at some point everybody holds their breath around this place.
All right, guys, best of luck today.
Thank you.
Racing at Bristol has been liking to flying jet fighters in a gymnasium. And if that's the case, then he certainly would be a favorite. And speaking of young pilots, Dick Berggren.
Yeah, and favorites, too. Casey Kane, 5th in practice this morning. Do you hold your breath when you do these qualifying laps?
I think you're going to have to on these two here, but we have a really good Dodge, and we'll see what happens. I love qualifying every weekend, and to come to Bristol and, you know, a big crowd, a lot of fans and stuff, it's pretty interesting. It'll be fun to try to get in the 14s.
Of course, it's more fun when you qualify like Casey Kane does up front every week.
Yeah, that helps. It helps qualify good. More fun when you qualify like Ryan Newman, who does it. It seems like week in and week out. So we just got to keep working on it, and we have a good Dodge car.
Good luck to you today. Thanks.
You saw Casey Kane's car a second ago. That's not subterfuge. Those covers are to keep heat out of the cockpit from the windshield and the rear window. That's not like covering the nose like we've seen lately.
Well, and they told him he couldn't cover the nose, so he said, okay, well, I'll start covering up the windows then.
You got to cover something.
And now I'm suspicious of the windows.
You got his nose cover taken away, didn't you?
Right. Can't cover the nose up. What are you doing now, Ray? I mean, what are you doing with that windshield?
But there, you talk about holding your breath here. I will say, when I've been here with drivers that got a good qualifying run in, and you'd ask them how the car was, they'd say, I don't know. Hang on a minute, I'll tell you.
I'll get back to you.
Joe Nemechek in the U.S. Army 01 will be our first qualifier this morning. He went for a spin here at Bristol. Literally.
Yeah.
Didn't really hit anything. And surprisingly, in that 2-hour practice, this was the only incident in Nextel Cup practice. He was 30th quickest in practice early.
So Nemechek, who did pick up a short track win last year in the Hendrick number 25 at Richmond. He's going to make his 19th Bristol start, and they have come with 7 different race teams.
Still a bit loose, especially off turn 4 here. The back end was stepping out.
First lap was a 15:28. He ran a 15:26 in practice. Darrell and Busch qualifying, we saw a lot of the cars pick up, but Joe actually slowed down on his second lap.
Yeah, again, you have options in the Cup that you don't have in the Busch. They got to go on stickers in the Busch Series, and sometime that first lap is, you know, get the goodie out of the tires, and that's it.
Let's go to Dick with one of the winningest active drivers here.
Oh, boy, he sure is, and he's also got 7 poles here. Rusty Wallace, how are your chances to get the pole today?
I think they're pretty good, really. I mean, I'm 14th quick in practice, but we changed a lot of things in the car, little things.
Car, not hot rod.
Hot rod, too. It's a hot rod. It's running. I tested here last week and ran real good with it. My race runs were great. I'm really happy with that. I struggled for about a 10th. I think I needed about another 1/10 of a second of speed when I left here. But I left here running a 29, and I run a 14 a little while ago, and I think I can get it in the O's pretty good.
Okay, good luck to you today. Thanks, Rusty.
Kirk Shelmerdine will be our next qualifier. He's in the Freddie B's number 72, which kind of harkens back to the good old days when in NASCAR. I understand that's an establishment in Winston-Salem. And he's also got the local Harley-Davidson dealer on the hood of his car.
We talked about moving the spoiler and the deck lid over to the right on Jamie McMurray's car. Kirk Shelmerdine has a 2002 body style here. What NASCAR does to discourage you from running an older body style, he has to run an inch shorter spoiler.
Boy!
And now it's real short.
That's going to leave a mark.
And that's what happens when your spoiler is an inch shorter than everybody else's.
Lots of less rear downforce.
Exactly. It's not much grip back there. I mean, that's a pretty small spoiler when you look at what we got now with the 5.5-inch spoiler on the other cars.
Kind of narrowed up the tail of that chopper style. Oh,
16:59 on his first lap.
Took the apostrophe out of Freddie B's there. Oh. You know, I feel bad because here's a fellow who's racing on a shoestring. He's really trying to do well. He's trying to get into these shows and race all day. And didn't need this.
You said that actually started before he ever got to the turn. You see the car wiggle a little bit as he's headed to the turn, and that means the back of the car is already kind of up in the air and loose.
You can see it right here, Darrell.
It just starts out. That's just like a grip, like a rear downforce. Now watch him. He's coming down the straightaway here. You watch his hands in there. About right along in there, he had to juke her back to the right real quick. That upset his corner entry, and then around she went.
Now, Larry, hard to tell, but that doesn't look fatal to the car from here.
Bob, they've got a lot of work to do to that race car. There you see the deck lid, the quarter panel. They've got their work cut out for him. But the biggest question, will he have a provisional to get in this show?
Kirk Shelmerdine, former championship-winning crew chief. Second car to take time and takes the concrete instead. A little bit of track cleanup going on here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Steve Burns is with Kirk Shelmerdine.
Yeah, Mike, and as you said, a very tough break for Kirk Shelmerdine. And Kirk, you've had a chance to look at the damage of the race car. What lies ahead for you?
Well, I'm not sure if we'll fix this one or use our other one to start on Sunday. It didn't really hit very hard. It messed the sheet metal up. Just not real smart on my part.
What happened on the racetrack?
Spun out.
There it is.
And the problem, the reason he had that 2002 car here is he only has 2 cars. He was trying to save his 2003 body style for a much faster racetrack next week at Fort Worth, Texas.
And I tell you, these guys at the back of the field that have been complaining, woo, the 4 car just about spun out coming off turn 4. I just wonder if these guys have been qualifying the back of the field like this, if they feel like they're under any more pressure right now, trying to pick the speeds up so they can lose that tag of what we've been calling field fillers.
Here's the local favorite. At least this car is the number 4 of Morgan McClure Racing, based just 15 miles up the road in Abingdon, Virginia. You pass that on I-81 on the way to the speedway here if you're coming down from the Roanoke area. And Kevin LePage, third driver to take time, and he's second quickest.
That's what I would call bad loose. Yes, he was really loose the whole run.
Yeah, he actually slowed down about a tenth there from what he ran in practice.
Dick Berggren.
Mark Martin won the pole for this race in year 2001. 7th quick in practice this morning. What do you got for him today?
Well, we've got a great race car here, and the Viagra team's got it set up good, too. But, you know, we just want to get a reasonable, I just want to get a reasonable starting spot. Try to get in position to go and contend for this win, you know, on Sunday. That's the main thing.
This young man's team is on the rebound. Look for good things from Mark Martin and this number 6 crew.
Had a great run at Darlington last week.
Elliott Sadler on track. Winner here 3 years ago, and he is quickest with a 15:11.
That's about what he ran in practice. He was 4th quickest in practice.
Looking for his first front row start here.
This group came up here and tested a brand new in-house chassis. Falls
off about a tenth. But what a day for Elliott Sadler here in Bristol, Tennessee 3 years ago. It was an off-scene finish in NASCAR, but not in many years had the 21 beat the 43 to the flag. The
you talk about pit selection at this racetrack, back then we had 2 separate pit roads. They had a backstretch pit, which is very hard to win from. His crew chief, Pat Trison, they ran almost the entire last 100 laps without pitting, kept that track position.
Well, they ran dirt cars and played football here, but never basketball. Maybe after this, Scott Riggs in the Harlem Globetrotter livery on his Valvoline Chevrolet.
Rumor has it some of the Globetrotters will be here on Sunday to watch the race. Group tested up here.
It'd be fun to see him, you know, slam dunking pit stops, maybe toss a few tires back and forth behind the back pass.
I'd like to see him do it on his 36-degree banking, see what they can accomplish there.
You know, in my book, I talk about Junior told me to go bounce the tires.
Yeah. That is a great story. And we won't tell it here, folks. You'll have to buy the book or go to your local library. But that's a great story about when Darrell first joined Junior Johnson's racing operation.
That'll be a good story for Talladega qualifying.
Dick?
Well, Jimmy Johnson, have you had a fun week after winning last weekend in Darlington?
There's nothing like the week after you win. The only, not necessarily it's a down thing, but you got to come back to the racetrack and start all over again. So just have a few days really to enjoy it in our sport. But an incredible week, and once again, I can't thank my guys enough for the great pit stop we had and the teamwork we had all day long to be able to win in Darlington.
It was an all-team effort. The driver did his end, the crew chief did his end, and the crew did theirs.
And Ward Burton has just kissed the wall lightly with the right front of his Net Zero Chevy and will not post a time.
I was just going to say, Manny drove that thing down into turn 3 hard, and he did, but the problem is he didn't come out the other side.
Now, he did take the green flag, but did not complete the lap. Well, he will when he rolls across the line here.
I tell you, he didn't even knock the lettering off the tire, so
no.
he didn't hit the wall very hard at all.
And that car was headed to, no, it wasn't. How do you say headed back in first? It was going for the wall. Let me tell you that. And Ward did a great job of minimizing the contact.
Darrell, I think we underestimate the speed of this racetrack. Right there in the center of the corner, you pick the throttle up, and the minute he picked the throttle up, car just comes around with him.
He was really, really free getting into turn 3, and that really is, when he tried to get back to the throttle, it just came around with him.
Let's show you this in real time. Oh, that was a save because that car was backing into the wall. That'll be little consolation to that team, though, because they'll be headed for provisional land.
You know, everywhere we go, qualifying is important. But if you've got a good race car at most racetracks, at a 500-lap race or a 500-mile event, you can overcome that. But at this place right here, after the first caution with 43 cars out there, when the leader of the race takes the green flag at the start-finish line, you're coming off turn 2. You're 3/4 of a lap down. So track position from the get-go of this race is so important. That's the reason they'd love to get this qualifying run in.
Yeah, well, you just get back in there where you know you're going to got a super huge chance of getting in a wreck, or at least getting your front end all banged up and getting the grill opening closed up to where the thing wants to run hot, and so you just got a lot of problems if you get back in the field very far.
NASCAR out there checking the racetrack right now.
Now, I recall several years ago where a driver had such a spin in turn 4, turned the car around, drove it all the way back to turn 2, relaunched and came around to run his second lap. Is that still legal, I wonder?
Well, I don't know. He's in pit. He's on pit lane, and he has crossed the start-finish line. I don't know if that triggers the clock when you're on pit road or not.
I can't see them letting him go back out there. I see right now his crew chief, Tony Furr, conferring with NASCAR down on pit road. I don't think he can complete this qualifying run, but I could be wrong.
We'll double check, and since he did not complete the first lap, he's scored as a DNF on the first lap. I'm not sure if he's had his chance or if he has a lap to come.
All these cars are really loose. I mean, every one of them I've seen go out except maybe Elliott Sadler. His car looked pretty comfortable, but everybody else's car is really twitchy loose.
While Johnny Sauter's first lap is just 1/100th off Elliott Sadler.
And we're being told that once Ward Burton took the green flag and goes to pit road, it's a did not finish qualifying attempt, so he'll start this race in provisional land.
Right, so they did change the rule after what I described so that you have one attempt at qualifying.
If he'd have never come to pit road, Mike, and never crossed the start-finish line, he could have done that.
Yeah, he could turn around and go back if he didn't cross the start line.
Johnny Sauter is good on both laps, a 12 and a 17. He's second fastest to Elliott Sadler. NASCAR Bud Pole qualifying from Bristol Motor Speedway is brought to you by Budweiser. It's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser. The race is on. Derek Cope has fun coming to the flag. And that was, what was that, the white flag for Cope. He posted one lap, which is sixth quickest. And then he got in trouble at the opposite end of the racetrack.
15:49 backwards across the start-finish line.
I'm just not sure. Everybody's car is incredibly loose. They're all just hanging on for dear life.
You know, I can see DW's hotspot for Sunday being Sullivan County.
Good call.
I'm not far off, am I?
Can you say aerial view?
Yeah. All right, Derek Cope had posted a lap of 15:49. And then here's what happened.
And you just can't save it. I mean, he's out wide. He gets off there. He gets the back end into the fence, tries to catch up with it. But as soon as he turns it to the right, she goes back to the left.
And the Arnold Development Dodge will have some work to do.
So he gets out wide right there. He's going to brush the wall with the right rear. Turns to the right, and as soon as it gets a chance, he goes right around.
And just to show you how tight, that's a hard lick. They'll definitely have to go to a backup car, I would say. But just to show you how tight qualifying is here, he's only 0.4 of a second off of, right now, our pole sitter, Elliott Sadler, with all that going on.
Now, you can hear him working the throttle with the engine sound there. He got loose. Thing got lost traction coming up out of the corner here, and around she went.
Darrell, I definitely think it's much warmer than it was when these guys were practicing about 2 or 2.5 hours ago. And remember, this is the first time that we've come here with the softer, grippier tire, plus with the shorter rear spoiler. We keep talking about rear downforce. You know, they're taking Jamie McMurray's car, Kirk Shelmerdine having a shorter spoiler. This is the first time we've raced here with the less rear downforce.
Makes you fast if you can hang on to it.
Water on the track. That'll take some time to clean up. Steve is with one man who had no problem on his lap.
Elliott Sadler, Mike, and you know, DW said just a moment ago, we've already had 3 cars spin, and he said just about everybody's car has looked loose, except for yours. How did it feel from your point of view?
I was loose too, maybe just not as much as these other guys. I think the track's just gotten a lot slicker on the Busch guys or the heat, or some made it a lot slicker than what it was in practice. So my car was extremely loose the whole way in, middle and off. So we lost a little bit of time, but at least it's in one piece. After seeing what these guys are doing, I'm kind of glad it's back in one piece. And if we get in the top 10 or 11, I'll be very, very happy with that.
Elliott, Larry Mack's curious about the new tire compound. We've talked about a softer tire here, a little bit less rear spoiler. You've won here. How does it feel different, or does it?
It feels like it's just got a lot more grip to it. We tested here about a week ago, and it was really consistent on long runs. The times did not fall off that much. You could feel a lot of changes in the car. Everything you changed in the car mechanically, you could feel it back through the tire. So Goodyear's done a great, great job with no testing here or anything like that. The tires really hook up on the first lap, kind of like they used to be 4 or 5 years ago. Your first lap should be the best one. So Goodyear's kind of getting it back in the driver's hands again each and every week, and I think they're putting on for some great races so far.
Thanks for your time, Elliott.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Elliott Sadler is quickest. Johnny Sauter just 1/100th back. Joe Nemechek, Scott Riggs, Kevin LePage. 8 drivers have had a shot at the track so far. Jeff Burton walks over to get a little insight from older brother Ward. Jeff is deep staged toward the end of the qualifying line. They don't choose that, they draw, but trying to find out what happened to the Net Zero Chevrolet and how the track has changed. Now, don't miss Pitbull tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Speed. Steve Burns with a group of riders who cover NASCAR every week and who are beholden to no one. You can't rope them, you can't tie them down, you can't brand them. They're full of opinions. They want to let you know it. Pitbull tomorrow.
Can't break those rusted chains either, can you?
No. Steve.
And Ward Burton has just climbed from his race car. Ward, you look at the car. We've had 3 drivers lose traction. I'm sorry, what happened today?
I don't think the damn track was swept well enough, first thing. Our car had gotten pretty stable at the end of that first practice and felt really good about it. I don't know. I mean, you know, drivers obviously pushing the car hard, but shouldn't have that kind of problem. Really wasn't any warning. I was a little bit loose in 1 and 2, but it just came around on me to place I hadn't been loose all day. So I think they're fixing the problem right now.
Ward, you looked at the right front corner of this race car. How badly is it damaged?
Well, we got to measure and make certain, but I don't think it bent the snout by any means. I just think it's a little bit of cosmetics. We'll have to fix it now or so.
All right, thanks, Ward.
Now, they are working on these cars out on pit road, actually. You do have the haulers in the center of the infield here at Bristol, but there's not enough room to work back there. There's no covered garage, so the teams usually choose to work out on pit road rather than back. You just can't get cars back there where the haulers are. We understand this whole infield is going to be raised after Sunday's race and completely reconfigured. Everything but that brand new scoring pylon with a video screen. Dick Berggren.
With Jeff Burton and Greg Biffle, they have yet to run their time trials, but they've been watching people go into the wall and spin out, spin around. Jeff, what do you think's happening out there?
There's a lot of fast cars here, and everybody's trying to go faster than the other one. That's what's happening. It's just, you know, it's just so competitive. You got to match the gas, and it's sunny. You know, it's sunny, and that's not helping anything.
And when you see all this stuff happening, you got a fast car. You were third quick in the practice session this morning. What does that do to you? Make you nervous, or are you okay with it?
Makes me a little nervous because my car was just a tick on the loose side, so I hope the track hasn't freed up anymore. Ward said that he was a little bit loose on his run, so let's wait and see what happens. It's kind of cloud cover now a little bit. Sun keeps coming in and out. We'll see what happens.
Sterling Marlin on the racetrack. They have just blown it clean, Mike.
Sterling has a second-place finish here, driving for Junior Johnson in 91, and 2 front-row starts in 97 and 2001, driving for this team.
And this past week, he became a grandfather. His son Stedman and his wife Mandy gave birth to Sterling Blaze Marlin.
Decent lap. 15-19.
Darrell, this, you know, we always talk about qualifying draw, where you got to qualify. I would say with what we're seeing here, this is where maybe it would pay off to go out late, because if nothing else, you get that information from a teammate or possibly from a brother.
No, that's exactly right. I think I'd be dropping a little air out of that right rear tire based on what I've been
Tighten
seeing.
her up.
Tighten her up a little bit.
Sterling's 2 laps pretty much mirror each other. He is third quickest and the fastest Dodge so far.
And it's just never ceases to amaze me. You practice, you always talk about the car too tight. So it's pretty dark to make a little change before we qualify. Then it's too loose.
And that's when I say, I don't want to hear it.
Well, let's see what kind of hot rod Rusty Wallace has.
9 wins here, 6 in the spring race. Second only to my man DW, who has 12 wins at this place, 7 in a row at one time.
And you listen to Rusty, and he drives this track like he's supposed to. He doesn't overcharge the corner. Listen when he backs off.
But he'll pick that throttle.
Whoa! Fastest.
Yes, 15:03.
Well, he said he thought he could get in the O's, and he did. But he backs off the throttle on the straightaway. But when he gets to the turn, he's back to the throttle and into the mat.
He's one of the few cars that has picked up from practice.
And he picked up on the second lap. He's in the 14s.
Nice job, Rusty.
Rusty Wallace, the Miller Lite Dodge, 1498.
He'd be happy with that.
There is his record to date, leading all active drivers in all 3 categories. And like you, Darrell, and a lot of drivers, there was one that got away.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Here it is.
They made a commercial out of this one. Unfortunately, Rusty was the poster child.
A little bump and run by Jeff Gordon in the 24.
The poster boy for Young Guns this season is Casey Kane, and here he comes in his number 9 Dodge.
It's pretty good.
Second quickest.
A 007. 15:007.
Gets through here. I think he got through 1 and 2 better that lap. Let's see what he does this time. It looked a little quicker to me.
Drops to an 0.2. Pretty consistent and pretty good. Puts Dodge on both sides of the front row right now.
He was not that happy with his car in practice or his Busch car, but I believe he'll be pretty happy with that.
4 butt pulls amongst this group, and their average starts lead the lead. Steve Burns with a man who does have a fast hot rod today.
Boy, I'll say, Mike Joy, Rusty Wallace, the only driver under 15 seconds. Tell us about your laps. You got quicker on the second.
Yeah, it was a good lap. The first lap, man, you know, I was a little juked out from that jet drive running the dirt all over the track and stuff, but they did clean it up really good, so I saw Sterling get through the pretty guys, the man hammer down, stand up a seat and get after it, you know, and it was good the first lap, and just had to keep a lot of throttle and keep it going. I don't know if that's going to hold up or not, but that's a good lap.
Good job, Rusty. Thanks.
Daryl, I just believe that when they blew this racetrack, it cleaned that racetrack off, because right now the last two cars that has went right after they blew it, they're on the front row for the time being.
Yeah, they could. The concrete, a lot of stuff collects on top of the concrete. I mean, you know, it's hard. It doesn't have any pores, so stuff lays on it. Blowing it off could have been a big advantage for those guys.
Andy Hillenberg in the commercial truck Ford. 17.313 makes him 11th of 12. Talk with Mike Helton this week about fellows like Andy, the fellows who fill the field and are doing their best. He says, look, NASCAR has always been about free enterprise. Here are the rules. Bring a legal car, run it as fast as you can. Let's see how well you can do. He said to eliminate anybody from having that opportunity would fly in the face of what NASCAR stood for since its inception.
Well, that's over 2 seconds off the pole speed Andy's time is right now. That's huge.
Here's the track record holder, Bristol. Ryan Newman in that 12 car.
Right around the bottom, picks up the throttle, gets a little loose off the 2 there. Heard him complain about that in practice, that he was a little loose off the 2.
Car looked pretty good, though, Daryl. Pretty solid. Let's see what he does here. Oh, 14.95. Didn't quite break his track record, but he beats his teammate, Rusty Wallace.
How long was Rusty on the pole? About 3 minutes?
Just long enough to make him mad, I can tell you that. Ryan got real loose off the 4 that time.
Yeah, 95. No, Ryan has 20 Bud poles. He's the second quickest in NASCAR history to achieve that. Bonnie Plott did it in 68 races. Ryan Newman did it in 84. 20 Bud poles in 84 races.
And you can't begin to calculate the quality of competition then versus now. Then there were some cars who had a chance to win. Today there are a lot of cars who have a chance.
About 25 to 30.
Yeah.
This car was good in practice. Mark Martin's car getting ready to take the green flag. He was pretty darn good in practice. He seemed to be happy.
7th quickest in practice.
Mark's been running better than he did last year. The car's been a lot faster.
Has 7 Buck poles here. This was a car that was their short track car at the end of last year, and they tested it at Las Vegas back in January. 7th quickest for Mark on his first lap, 15.21.
That's just a quarter second off of Ryan Newman's present full speed.
A little bit here can be a lot.
This car was just really jukey off the 2 over there. Looks like it's a little tight to me. Unlike some of the others have been loose, he looks a little tight.
Almost ran the same speed. In fact, just a tick quicker, but he's going to stay 7th quickest.
Mark picked up a 10th on his second lap. Now he's having to dig himself out of the hole that Ryan Newman fought his way out of last year. Last place finish at Daytona. And Mark up to 12th after Darlington, and that is quite a pickup after leaving Daytona, the first car out of the race.
But we all remember 2 years ago, Tony Stewart left Daytona 43rd in the points. He came back to win the championship.
He had 36 races.
Jimmy barely put that left front down on the flat and almost paid the price for it up the hill.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you want to do, but not quite that much.
Jimmy was 11th quickest in practice at a 15.14. That lap not too good. 15.30 puts him 10th quickest.
Yeah, this should be a lot better because he lost all that time in turn 1.
That's a lot better right there.
They feathered the throttle there in the middle of 3 and 4 too. We'll move up some.
Good pickup to 6th place with a 14.
Exactly what he ran in practice. To the thousandths, that's what he ran in practice.
Steve?
Well, Ryan Newman, we heard that you told your team that wasn't a perfect lap, but she's good enough to be #1 on the scoreboard right now.
Right now, which is out of 14, we need to be out of, 44, whatever it is today. So we'll see. I know Jeff's got a really strong car. Biffle's strong. Not the best lap, but a pretty darn good one. Should be a good top 5 starting spot for us.
Ryan, I was just about to say, do you think it'll hold up for your 21st career pole?
I don't think so, and I want to be proved wrong.
Thanks.
There's somewhere foggy in my mind is something about postulating the negative theory. Oh, whoa, whoa, like Scott Wimmer almost did.
Man, I tell you what, I draw up every time. I know what that feels like. That back end hops out here. It's almost impossible to catch it.
Pretty good lap. I think that loose coming off turn 4 is going to more show up on this lap because of his front straightaway speed. He slows down on his second lap to 15:27, 8th quickest for Scott.
So 16 of 44 drivers have had their chance at the clock, and the Penske Dodgers of Ryan Newman and Rusty Wallace are quickest. Dale Jarrett's best night at Bristol was in 1997, where he qualified third and drove to victory lane. UPS Ford. Best Ford right now is his, Robert Yates' teammate Elliott Sadler with a 15:11.
Dale was 28th quickest in practice, has one win here, brand new car. They tested this car at Vegas. 12th quickest for Dale, 15:31. I don't think he'll be very happy with that lap. You see right here, it's just hard to get wide open throttled. You get completely up off the corner up on the straightaway. You have to play with that throttle.
And that's the difference of being fast or being just so-so.
And the second lap was a quarter second slower for Jarrett. Dick?
Well, Brendan Gaughan, who's a rookie here in Nextel Cup Racing, standing side by side with teammate Rusty Wallace. What secrets to give you?
The Penske team got the secrets right now. You know, I just told them I'd take first, second, or third. I don't care if I could be up near my teammates. That'd be pretty awesome today.
Yeah, your teammates are first and second. How much pressure is on you?
No, you know, Rusty was here at the test with us, helping us out a ton. The Bristol test, the Texas test, he was there helping. The Kodak team's turning things around, and I feel really good about us qualifying this week.
Good luck with it. Biffle's on the racetrack.
Greg Biffle, the 99 pole winner in the Craftsman Truck Series here. Got a 5th place finish out of his first of 2 Bristol Cup starts.
Car looks awfully good. Remember, he was 3rd quickest in practice at a 15:05. Car looks good and solid up off the corner where everybody's been so loose. 4th quickest for Greg, 15:11. Darrell, I was talking to his crew chief, Doug Richard, earlier today, and I said, what car do you guys have here? He said, well, this is our Las Vegas car. A lot of good ground clearance. That's one of the challenges you have here is bottoming the race car out.
And, you know, for a while, we were building what we called, he jumped up to 2nd place, too, there with a 14.97 just ahead of Rusty. Car's been qualifying really good, but we were building what we used to call, I don't know what they call them now, concrete cars, where we ran it here in Dover for that very reason. It had no cross member or anything under, so the cars travel so much or get so much grip. Concrete's so hard, had to build a different chassis for the concrete with more stability in it.
Ricky Craven coming off a tough weekend at Darlington. Tie number 32.
Yeah, struggled in practice, too. They were only 33rd quickest. Bill, I saw him dip below the yellow line there, and even though that's asphalt, there's a different angle there of banking it. It shoots the race car up the racetrack.
It does, but there's a lot of grip there, Larry. Those left side tires, they get in that paint, and they like that. And you're down on you're down on the asphalt right there with that left side tire. So if you hit it right, hit your mark. The track's very mark sensitive. Hit your mark there with that left front, get that extra grip. You can get back to the throttle a little quicker.
Craven with a 24 on the first lap and a 43 on the second. He'll be 11th fastest. In fact, if you look in turn 1, the paint is almost gone. I mean, it's not gone down there at the apex of turn 1. It's just there's so much rubber been put down on that asphalt on top of it. Ryan Newman, still quickest. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman quickest. Bobby Labonte with Wellbutrin on the car and a new look for the Joe Gibbs number 18.
This company has a wellness center that's set up here temporarily. I went out there today and did some things with Bobby Labonte and crew chief Michael Fatback McSwain. They check your blood pressure, your blood sugar, the capacity of your lungs. I mean, really a neat deal, giving free tests to all the race fans.
So?
I passed all the tests, and you know what? When she stuck me for blood sugar, I bled. Not too good a lap, though, for Bobby Labonte. 16th quickest at a 15:40. The car just don't look like it's really going anywhere. But he picks it up on that second lap. 15:29.
13th fastest for Labonte. Dick?
Robbie Gordon was 13th fastest in practice this morning, but there were an awful lot of people under the hood of your race car this morning. What was happening, and have you got the engine you came with?
Well, we had to change the engine, so our qualifying effort kind of comes down to our starting position. I think we really had a shot at the pole. That 13th quickest time was on scuffed tires. When we went on stickers, we lost the head gasket, but you know, RCR, they do a great job in the engine department. Very, very seldom do we have problems like we had today.
Good luck to you. Let's go to Steve Burns.
All right, thanks a lot, Dick. It's been a great weekend for Greg Biffle, already on the pole for tomorrow's Busch Series race. And second quick, tell us about your lap.
Well, it was a really good lap. You know, National Guard car was good. I've been having trouble with that 3 and 4, and I left a little on the table, and I apologize to the team. You know, they've done a great job giving me a good car, and just missed it by a little bit. You know, I don't know if Ryan's going to get beat or not, but the sun keeps coming in and out here. That plays a big factor in it, but the guys did a great job with this car, and I'm real happy.
Jeff Green on track, 15th with a 15:30 in the Cheerios Dodge of the Petties.
Darrell, this qualifying is going to be so tight. Yeah. I mean, he's 15th at a 15:30. Casey Kane is 4th at a 15 flat. Yeah, he's still got half the field to go.
Last year, I think Ryan was the only one that was in the 14s. This year, we've already got 3 cars in the 14s, but they're so close right there to get 15 O's and 15 1s. Seems like the field is closer together overall than it was last year.
Seems Kentucky-bred drivers like this track, and here's as the trend continues, Jeremy Mayfield this season, 7th in points, an increase of 19 over where he was last season at this stage, and his average finish twice as good as last year.
He was 9th quickest in practice, and I watched him almost the entire practice. He spent probably 2/3 of that practice working on race runs. Then they flipped over and did qualifying runs.
Car has a race-ready look to it. It's nice and stable, kind of like you'd like to have it for the race. Looks nice and snug.
It's looking like it's going to be a little better second lap. I believe it is going to be quite a bit better for Jeremy. I'd say 8th quickest, picks it up quite a bit. 10th and a half almost on that second lap. I mean, Jeremy quietly sitting 7th in the points like the graphics show. Just pretty solid every week right now.
Big improvement. Dick?
I'm with Kurt Busch. He's just taking a look at his race car, and I'm looking at your numbers here. You won here 3 times. Once you started in 27th spot, once you started in 9th spot, once you started in 5th spot. So how important is qualifying to you today?
You kept going further towards the front on starting, so hopefully we can get another top 5 start. Just a good Sharpie Ford underneath us. It just, we're missing a little bit when we throw on fresh tires. It's really good on the long run. And I'm hoping that'll translate to Sunday's victory, but just for today, we got to see if we can make a solid lapping and make sure we can get a top 15 or so.
And tomorrow, Kurt joins us on the Busch Series race, so we are definitely looking forward to that. Becoming quite the TV personality.
And he will be on our trackside show tonight. Man, going for 3 in a row here.
Watched him on Wind Tunnel last night. You know, he's a good interview. You ask him a question, and he will answer it for you.
Casey Mears going to be pretty happy with his qualifying run. He used 2 provisional starts in 2003, and both of them were here, but he's going to end up right now 12th quickest out of 23 cars.
So Mears is 12th. Dodges have done well. The top 10, well, let's see, 6 out of 10 are Dodges. Welcome back to Bristol. Hermie Sadler trying to make the Cup race here in the ETTrailers.com, number 02.
Same car that Carl Long qualified for the Las Vegas race last month. Hermie was 41st quickest in practice. It's going to be 21st quickest on his first lap, 15:69.
This car is a Pontiac. We remind you that although they no longer support any of the teams with factory support, they are still legal to run in Nextel Cup competitions. There's a few of them from time to time. Second lap is a little bit quicker. Hermie is 21st. Dick?
With Ricky Rudd, who on Sunday will start at Bristol for the 53rd time. What's the most profound change you've seen happen to this racetrack in all that time?
Well, I'll tell you the truth, really, Dick. Probably when it went from the blacktop to the concrete racetrack, and now, you know, to have this stadium-type seating, that's pretty amazing to see that change over the years. It wasn't nowhere near this amount of seats on this place when I first came here, but the race still hasn't changed much. It's still exciting and it's fast.
And that's why every seat is sold for Sunday. One of the toughest tickets in all sports to get a seat at this place.
So also one of the biggest qualifying crowds we've had all season.
Yeah, I mean, Mike and Darrell, in 1961, the first race here, there was 25,000 people here. Sunday, there'll be over 160,000 people. That's twice as many people that attended the Super Bowl in Houston back in February.
Terry Labonte, the Kellogg Chevy. First lap is a 34. That is 19th fastest.
These guys brought a brand new race car here. In fact, they just finished it late last night.
Just to put in perspective, Darrell, what do you think was the biggest crowd to see you win one of your victories here?
It's about 35 or 40,000 people, and they were all right here on this side, you know, on the start-finish line side of the racetrack. People you sit on the back straightaway on the dirt bank back there, you know, and watch the races, and that was all there was, about 30,000, 40,000 people.
I got another question. What's the biggest crowd to ever boo you?
That's why I told Kurt Busch, you know, said, you got an honor I never had. I had the whole crowd booing me one time, but it wasn't but 35,000 people.
Right. Jeff Burton in the Jack Roush 99. They had Hot Wheels in the car last week, and they are still looking for full-time sponsorship. So had some black paint at the shop, and here we are.
Yeah, this is their Darlington car. This is the first race that they've not had some type of sponsorship on it in 2000.
You know, what's worse than a white car with nothing on it?
Black car with nothing on it.
A black car with nothing on it.
But Jack Roush is committed to Jeff Burton. He says, we are running the entire season with the 99 car. We hope to pick up a full-time sponsor. We're still working hard on that. And so Burton's run is 15.31. Dick Bergman.
With Jeff Gordon, who has had 4 consecutive front row starts here at Bristol, how do you accomplish something like that at a track as tough as this?
Well, a great car, you know, and a liking to the track, I guess. I've just always liked this track. It reminds me a lot of, you know, racing sprint cars at Winchester and Salem, and real high bank, fast racetrack, and you know, it's kind of a slingshot effect, and got to carry that momentum up off those corners. So, but these guys have done such a great job in the DuPont Chevrolet preparing it. Thing is awesome right off the truck. We didn't come in here and test. It's a little bit different tire, and just hoping we made the right adjustments. This guy's put a heck of a number up there.
Hard hit last week. You okay?
I'm a lot better than I was last Sunday, and Monday, and Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, yeah, you know, everything did its job. I'm real, you know, fortunate to have the safety device that we have out there now, and it's been a good week, and I feel 100% now.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Kenny Schrader, the Schwann's Food Service, number 49 Dodge from BAM Racing. 10th quickest on his first lap with a 19.
Good lap for him. That's a really good run.
Backs it up with a 20 on lap 2. Good run for Schrader. Welcome back to Bristol. The American, number 94, the Bojangles car for Stanton Barrett. Trying to make the show. As we said, 44 drivers here. There were 45. Larry Foyt's car, trouble at inspection, got confiscated. They did not have a backup, and Larry withdrew. So Barrett is in 24th of 28. Dick?
With Junior, you tested here in 2000, tested here for this race, fast in practice. You going to get the pole today?
We're going to see. I don't know. You know, the testing surely paid off. The car's pretty comfortable. And I like running here, and I want to run good here. So, you know, we'll just have to see. Hopefully, if we get a good lap, we get to race practice tomorrow and see what we got for the race.
All right, go get him.
When I said Barrett was in, I didn't mean in the show. I mean his 2 laps are in the book. He lacks 2 cars of being a guaranteed starter for Sunday. Robbie Gordon.
And we've heard Dick Bergman talking to Robbie Gordon. Remember, these guys had to change engines, so they will have to start at the rear of the field regardless where he qualifies, and he looked like he was going to have a pretty good lap there, 21st quickest. Why are these guys qualifying? Because pit selection. Where you qualify here, regardless of where you start, is pit selection. Darrell, if there's a racetrack we go to where pit selection can make you or break you, it's right here at Bristol.
Yeah, there's 22 pits on the front straightaway. Then there's 22 on the back. And, I mean, you could take a chance on pulling the deal that they've done the last few weeks and pick that first pit off of turn 2 over there, which is actually the last pit. But I don't think that'll work here. We got to go all the way around these corners to get back around here to get out on the racetrack.
How about Kurt Busch in Auto Racing's version of March Madness? That's our March trip to Bristol every year. flirting with the front row. And instead ends up 8th with a 16.
This guy's just been good and solid. Good run at Darlington, 6. 3 top 10 finishes this year, and comes in here 4th in the points.
Oh, he was better until he got off turn 4. And the second lap will be slower by 6/100ths. Darrell, I don't think he's ever run the same paint job here twice.
I don't think he has either. Same number.
Let's have a look at Kurt Busch's 3 Bristol victories. There was the $1 million paint job when he made that. That wasn't even a pardon me bump on Jimmy Spencer.
I would say he muscled his way by, but he's not that big, so...
He doesn't have muscles compared to Jimmy. Then there was the silver car in March of 2003. And then this bump and run. So how about a three-peat? There are the 2003 track sweepers, the drivers who took both ends of the tracks that have 2 Nextel Cup races. As Kyle Petty comes out to qualify the Georgia Pacific Dodge. And Kyle's run nets him a 25th place in the order with a 15:43. His second lap was a 49.
In Kurt's defense with Sterling there in that one race, I mean, all you got to do is back off a little quicker than the guy behind you thinks you're going to. Maybe a different spot, you know, protecting the bottom, and you can get into the back of a guy like that. That bump and run usually takes place in the middle of the corner.
Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, not very good in practice. He was about 32nd quickest.
He's hustling her. I don't know if he's going to get anything out of it, but he's trying real hard.
He's going to be better than what he practiced. Good lap, 9th quickest for Kevin, 15-16.
You see a lot of these fellows like Kurt Busch that are so fast. You see the needle move left so fast going into the turn, but then losing a little bit of time, just like there, coming off.
You drive it in so deep, yeah, it carries a lot of speed, Darrell. You pay the price on the exit.
That's adrenaline flowing, man. You just don't want to leave anything on the table. Not necessarily the right way to run this joint, though.
And, Darrell, I think what happens here a lot of times is that crew chief will give you that first lap time. It's like, well, I can do better the next lap. Watch this.
Yeah,
and it don't quite work out that way.
Hey, watch this.
I think Jamie's asking Tony, will I ever get this car back? Oh, maybe. Ricky Rudd, 53rd race at Bristol. Well, he's 10th fastest right now.
Brand new race car. This group came up here and tested. They felt good about their test, and so far, at least for qualifying, it's paying off. He don't slow down that much his second lap.
New sponsor for Rudd, Rent-A-Center. On the side of his 21, he's trying to rent himself a top 10 start, and that's where he sits right now.
I think if this race team can just ever turn the curve with Ricky, I think they just continue to search like a lot of teams what he's looking for with this new generation of Goodyear tires.
Brian Vickers was Matt Yoakum's pick as one to watch this weekend on radio broadcast this morning throughout the Southeast, and see what Brian, defending Busch Series champ, can do.
Like almost all of the rookies, he came up here and tested, but it just didn't work out. He actually wrecked down in turn 3 and 4, knocked the rear clip of the car off. They did repair it and brought that same car back.
If you just get through this end of the speedway here, 3 and 4, I think you get a little bit better lap. But see, he can get off of 4 now, he gets a little loose right there. He had a better lap going, but he lost it.
16th on the first lap. He picks up 100th. Does not move him in the order. He is 16th right now. Well, the top 10 is beginning to kind of spread out a little more. There's 3 Chevys, 4 Fords, 3 Dodges, but those Dodges are first, third, and fourth.
Well, here goes the guy that could put the Chevrolet brand at the top of the pylon, I would say, based on his practice speeds.
He wasn't the quickest in practice, Darrell, at a 15 flat.
3 poles in the last 4 Bristol races. 4 for 4 in front row starts.
Car looks awfully good, Darrell.
A little soft off the tube. I don't know if he got matted or not. He's matted here, though.
Easy into the corner.
It'll be close. It'll be close.
number 2.
Yeah, he's just a little soft off the 2 on that first lap. Maybe he can pick it up on the second.
He only needs 3 1,000ths.
Yeah, I don't believe he's going to get it on this lap. I believe he used it all up, Mike, on the first lap.
You know, you'd make a good crew chief, Mike.
I'll tell you, just for him to hustle this car around at these speeds, I think is quite a feat after what happened to Jeff Gordon just 5 days ago. Tony Stewart gets into the back of Andy Hillenberg, who slides up the hill, and the pow.
And what Jeff was thinking is that the car is going to come down the racetrack. It's going to back up there and hit the wall and come down the racetrack. Plus, there was a car under him. He couldn't go low. So he was in a box.
He took a hard hit on the racetrack. He took a hard hit in the points as he fell out of the top 10 back to 13th in points.
So our point leader is, this should be about as much surprise as, and Ryan Newman is fastest? Yes, Matt Kenseth continues to lead the points.
But you know, Mike, I heard so much talk, you know, he finished 31st at Darlington, that he took a hard hit in the points. He's the leader. You know, it don't matter. After 26 races, if you've got a 500-point lead, it shrinks to 5 points. As long as you're the leader, that's what you want to maintain.
Matt's second lap is quicker with a 15:23. He is 18th on the board right now.
And that's kind of where he always qualifies. 18th to 25th.
Let's go downstairs.
And I'm with Michael Waltrip, who has had a very, very tough season through no fault of his own. How about it, Mikey? Is Bristol the place to turn it around?
Well, we ran well in qualifying here a year ago. We ran in the O's, and I told the guys back at the truck that I could run down in the 14s if I got lucky. So that's our goal. We'll try to get all we can out of our Napa Chevy. Look forward to the challenge that Bristol presents.
And his teammate, Earnhardt Jr., is on the racetrack.
And his 15th on his first lap, Dick. That is not a great lap. Here comes Junior for lap 2. He's got a 20.
Slid the nose, really slid the nose over in the middle of 1 and 2. Got the car up the racetrack. Had to get out of the throttle. Cost him a lot of time.
A 20 and a 19 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Bud Chevy. They are 14th. Welcome back to Bristol, where Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon are quickest. The Lucas Oil number 98 Ford on track with Jeffrey Bodine.
And what making this attempt right here does for Jeffrey, since he's a previous winner of the All-Star race, it makes him eligible for the next All-Star race coming up at Lowe's Motor Speedway in May.
Here is Steve with the man who's second fastest.
And Jeff Gordon just missed his 4th Bristol pole. Jeff, tell us about your laps.
Well, those guys put some good numbers up there, and, you know, we were getting everything we could out of it in practice, and, you know, we didn't go a whole lot faster there. So, you know, it shows that we were working hard in practice, and, you know, I think we may have just tightened the car just a little bit too much. I was tight in the middle and just couldn't get it to turn the way I wanted to, and that was making me a little bit loose off. But, oh, no, I'm happy. I mean, glad to have a Chevy in the top 5 right now, and, you know, love to have a front row start. I mean, we've been very successful starting up front here, and that's still going to get us a good pick on pit road.
Thanks, Jeff.
Morgan Shepherd, the John Deere number 89. Now, this is one of 4 cars that apparently don't have any provisional points, but do have, sorry, they do have points. They don't have any provisional starts available, but they do have qualifying attempts. And as we said earlier, 1 car will head home.
He's 36 quickest after his first lap. The boy, he picks it up. He picks it up a bunch, 3/10, but no position. He's still 36 quickest at a 15:63. He's 36 at a 15:63. Right now, Casey Kane, 5th, is a 15 flat, 0.6 of a second.
Checking the lugs on Tony Stewart. Let's go back to 2001. Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart. Change of paint, change of position, change of fortune.
He was not very happy, as you can see, coming to pit road after the race.
They messed up his brakes when he got in that spin over there.
And that was for what, 6th place?
They were back in the field a little ways, yeah, but must have had a brake problem.
Tony was 6th quickest in practice. 15:21, 18th quickest. He slows down 1/10 from what he practiced earlier.
You know, as the track slows down, nobody's broken into the top 10 in quite a while.
I believe it's going to be a little better lap, though, for him. Looks like at 15:15 bumps him up to 9th quickest.
Somebody's snuck into the top 10 just now, and that would be Tony in 9th.
And it hadn't slowed down.
There's the fastest man in Bristol thus far. Welcome back to Bristol. Joe Ruttman on track for James Finch in the Miccosukee Gaming Dodge. He will be the 41st driver to take time, and he puts it right on the bubble, 38th fastest.
And Mike, that's
15:71.
That's good news for Stanton Barrett. That will put Stanton Barrett in this show, I believe.
Wow. Puts Joe Ruttman on the bubble. Here is our speed channel set just outside the TV compound behind the front stretch grandstand where everybody's practicing focus for NASCAR Live. You'll join Steve Burns there right after our qualifying telecast. So keep it right here on Speed. Later tonight, trackside on the same stage. Should it still be standing?
Looks like a good lap for Brother Mikey here.
His 25th quickest in practice. Boy, I'll say 6th quickest. Good run for Michael.
Car looks really good for him.
Okay, the track hasn't slowed down.
All you have to do is ask.
Right.
Daryl, I'm sure all Michael, Slugger, all that group, all they want to accomplish here is be able to drive it in the truck when the race is over.
That would be big.
Stop the bleeding. That's a good run for Michael.
Yeah, he'll be real happy with that. I said that one day, something about somewhere. I said, oh, he's not going to be happy with that. And I saw him later on. He said, why did you say that? I was tickled to death. That's the best I've done all day.
Brendan Gaughan in the Kodak Dodge. 15 minutes before qualifying started, he was up here in the suites talking to kids, a kids group, and signing autographs. He says, I love being around kids because, you know, developmentally, we're all right about the same level.
Yeah, he loves being around kids because he are one.
He's a big kid.
Tell you what, guys, he's on a pretty good run here. His Penske teammates, remember, they're in the top 5. 6th quickest for Brendan. He'll be happy about that.
Whoops. Whoops.
I believe I was that crew chief, I'd be saying stop. That's just good enough right there.
He's having the time of his life.
You know, I think the biggest thing that drove him on this qualifying run was knowing where those two teammates qualified.
Could have been. The pressure. Sometimes your teammates will put a lot of pressure on you.
Good run for Brendan.
And he becomes the 4th Dodge in the top 10.
And if I was Michael, I would be very happy because that moved him to the inside. And I like starting on the inside here. Don't want to go down in that first turn at the start of the race out on the outside. A little treacherous.
It does bump Morgan Shepherd into a provisional situation, and he may be the going-home car. We'll wait and see as Jamie McMurray. Now, this is not considered a backup car because the car that was confiscated by NASCAR was done so before. Was it before qualifying or before even practice?
It was before they even almost went through inspection. It was one of the first things that happened. So, yeah, wherever he qualifies is where Jamie will start. 15:07, 7th quickest for Jamie. Good run. This is the car they practiced the whole time. He was looking a little bit better right here. I believe it may be a little better lap.
Stuffed it in, lost a little time coming off. He does improve to 6th.
Bad news, Mikey. You're back on the outside again.
He'll still be happy.
Half the top 10 are Dodges, including the pole winner, this man, Ryan Newman. Speed Channel coverage of Bud Pole qualifying from Bristol is brought to you by Radio Shack. Race into your neighborhood Radio Shack now and enter the Call Your Driver sweepstakes. You could win a dream trip to the Radio Shack Samsung 500 or even a new car. And by Bombardier ATV. See the Outlander Max, made for 1 or 2 riders. Bombardier ATV, follow no one. The man who has followed no one today is Ryan Newman. Nick is with him.
Indeed, for the 21st time in 86 attempts, Ryan Newman has won a pole in NASCAR's biggest league. So that lets you pick the pit that you want. You get to pit wherever you want here, back stretch, front stretch, but you also don't have traffic. Which is more important to you here at Bristol?
All of the above. I don't have a distinct answer for that. The guys in the Auto Dodge did a great job to bring a good car here. It's the car we had at Rockingham in Atlanta, believe it or not, and it's just a good race car, and the same car they had to pull here in the track record here in the spring race last year. So we're looking forward to our pit selection as well as the start of the race because we got clean air.
Congratulations, Rocket Man. Mike?
Another great run for Newman, 21st career pole, 3rd pole of the season. While Jeff Gordon has 11 front row starts in 23 Bristol appearances.
Yeah, I mean,
He'll take advantage of it, too.
to me, the front row is really not a surprise, but I tell you, I don't know what to make of this top 10. A lot of experience up there, Rusty Wallace, Michael Waltrip. But look, 3 of our Rookie of the Year candidates is in the top 10. Casey Kane, Brendan Gaughan, and Johnny Stalvey.
5 Dodges in the top 10, 2 Chevys, 3 Chevys, 2 Fords. As you look back through 30th place.
Now, one of the things that, again, I'll just reiterate is when I go to bed Saturday night and I think about what I'm going to do in the race tomorrow, and I say, oh, gee, I got to start on the outside. Man, you can get freight trained so easily here, get hung up on that outside. You can start up front and be back in 25th place in 2 or 3 laps.
There's a look at provisional land back through 43rd. And Morgan Shepherd, 62 years old, trying hard, failed to make the field. Coming up, switch over to FX tomorrow for final practice, and then switch to Fox for the NASCAR Busch Series presented by Taco Bell, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. On Sunday, NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is presented by Quaker State at 1 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday night, Speed News NASCAR Edition and NASCAR Victory Lane on Fox. There's lots of NASCAR this weekend across all the Fox networks, including right here from Bristol. Next, Steve Burns, right there on the big speed stage behind the main stretch grandstand. We'll host NASCAR Live, and later tonight, trackside with all the usual suspects. Well, Newman on the pole, Gordon outside, no surprises there. Rusty starts 4th. I don't know, going to be exciting. That's about the only thing we can guarantee you, right?
Oh, yeah, well, it wouldn't matter where those cats started. They're going to make it exciting because they're going to find their way to the front.
A fighter plane in a gymnasium. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Jet fighter in a gymnasium. That's racing at Bristol.
I heard a new one today. Slingshot you off the corner. That's what this place feels like. When you come out of the turns here, all that power, slingshot you down that straightaway.
So Ryan Newman on Sunday, surrounded by 160,000 of his closest friends, will start from the pole. A wild day of qualifying because a lot of drivers had trouble finding grip and no trouble finding the concrete. Congratulations to Ryan Newman, Bus Pole winner at Bristol.